You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. We got a couple left today, and Lord knows if I'll have more tomorrow. But this is a case of real world marriage. I guess it is a happy one. This comes from a previous client of mine who is a Class A act gal. Uh, I won't go into the details, but she wanted to throw her and say, "Yeah, no, there's good marriages out there," which I am more than welcome. Let the statistics show. This isn't where what's his name, Saddam Hussein gets elected and wins with 98% of the vote. I'm like, no. You send me the good stories. You send me the 1 or 2% that come in. Will paint a very accurate picture. She has some advice later on in a succinctified. So, as an olive branch of kindness to women, I'll just give some female advice to another. Maybe you girls will listen this time because it comes from a woman. Because what the hell do I know? I've included a lot of keep private stuff to give you a whole picture, but I'm trying not to identify as too much. All right, I'll further anonymize. Based on your last couple of horrible marriage cases, they're not horrible. They are what they are. You need a real life case of a good marriage. I agree. Here's the problem. By definition, you can't know if a marriage is a long-term success for several decades. Therefore, all the long-term marriages that turned out good are from older generations. You nailed a statistical challenge people like me and other statisticians faces. You're right. What percentage of marriages succeed? And you have to wait till someone dies. And that means multiple generations. So the baby boomers, they're still clocking in divorces right now. But you are right. I still like my idea of orgasms per capita. I think that should be the new measure. And it's better than GDP per capita. GDP per capita doesn't correlate with happiness. I mean, it does a little bit, but I think if people were getting laid more, we'd be a happier nation. What the fuck do I know? That should be the title of my book, Orgasms Per Capita. There we go. Still won't win a Clark medal. The young today face a different set of circumstances, so I don't know how much of our case is applicable to the young today. Another astute point. I think the fundamentals still apply, but you can't. Most important thing in your life has to be each other, and young people today, that's just not it. Especially as I'm going to open my mouth and say, I'm going to say the quiet part out loud, especially the women. You girls do not have men number. You don't. I got the polling data to prove it. You don't have men number one in your life. That's fine. It's your choice. But then don't bitch and whine when there ain't no marriages. We are in our late 60s and have been married 38 years. We're happily married. And by that, I don't mean we walk around feeling happy all the time. We've had our good times and bad, though we all love each other and we're loyal. Here are a few reasons it was successful. We built a solid financial future. Not that money guarantees a good marriage, but I imagine it's very difficult to stay happily married if you stay poor. The reasons we are financially secure are we both majored in STEM. You've already lost the female audience, madam. And we focused our big expenditures on things that could be used as business assets as well as provide us with a quality family time. We did not blow money on big expenditures that did not serve both of these purposes, and we started saving for retirement early, taking advantage of companies matching 401ks. See, I'll tell you right now, one of the main reasons you list the various choices and decisions you made, but it all falls under one category. You are responsible adults. You are responsible. 2, we never stop having sex. Uh-oh. Madam, do you know how many women's dreams there are in today in America to not have sex? There actually is. I think it's 20% of women don't like sex. And then they get wooey, wowie, woo, like are apprehensive towards it or have issues, are to get it's just like how many have problems climaxing. It's a ball of wax I don't care to get into. But yeah, my God. Keep having sex, huh? Sometimes it seems so obvious, but now you look at the real world like, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. I presume both of you stayed in shape for each other then. If we were mad at each other instead of avoiding sex, we might have a grudge fuck. You should write a book. This sounds great. Once again, my orgasms per capita. I guarantee you that's a better measure. If things just seemed a bit off between us, we had sex, and that seemed to reboot the relationship. Not to say there weren't dry spells, for example, illness, childbirth, and long separations due to. Oh yeah, that's normal. I mean, I know working on the damn house, like, hey, do you not know? Want to go to bed? And no, I don't have a headache. I'm just tired. But if we had divorced over a dry spell, thinking that was the end of sex, we would have missed out on the best sex of all. When the kids are grown and gone, and you've been together so long, there's complete trust. Now we could explore exotic variations we wouldn't have dreamed. I knew it. I keep telling the young boys, get the fuck out of here. And now look, be there for a while, but get out of your parents' house because your dad wants to start banging your mom on the kitchen island again. I don't think in my parents' day they had kitchen islands. I don't think so. I think that was more of a new thing. I think that's my generation. We started banging on kitchen islands because there was some. When the kids were in the house or were too shy to talk about it when first married. A word about menopause. Women's sex drive is less than men's to start with, and we were no different. But it really tanks after menopause. Too bad! Oh, nosies. Our solution is hormone replacement therapy. Why give up sex when it's so much fun? You don't have to tell us that. You go tell the ones with the boobs that. Okay, there's the boob people and there's the non-boobed people. The boob people need to hear your message there, Johnny Applesex. 3, we made a rule early on and have stuck with it all these years. I've heard some couples say they have a rule never to lie to each other. I call bullshit on that. There are times telling a lie is the correct thing to do, like when the truth will unnecessarily hurt your partner. What about practical jokes or planning secret birthday party? Well, okay, yeah. But we wanted a mechanism in place that would overrule dishonesty should one of us feel the need for truth. We made a code phrase where one of us suspects the other is not telling the truth and for some reason wants to call them out on it, and they can demand they say the code phrase, and then the other must either confirm it's true. Well, how is that keeping? Then you know that doesn't solve anything. Using the phrase or be caught in a lie. We view lying when using the code phrase as the ultimate betrayal. You lost me. I'm confused. I just think generally not lying to each other is a good thing. Except for, is there Santa Claus? Yeah, you lie to your kids about that. So far, to my knowledge, neither of us has broken that rule, and I don't recall either of us using it for the nuclear option. Have you ever cheated on me? Say the code phrase. It probably means we never felt the need to, but it comes in real handy for practical joke situations. He's going to cheat on me. If you stay thin and hot and keep him sexually satisfied, he won't. Oh my God, sex. Oh, you're just an object. Well, then he's going to cheat on you. You seem to have this empiricism or this real world. You have a grip on reality, madam. Something not really under our control, which might be the biggest reason our marriage is successful. Neither of us have any kind of nasty personality disorder. We were raised to be civilized, so we basically are respectful of each other, even when in conflict. We aren't dismissive of each other's problems. We may be oblivious to them until the other person talks about it, but then we try to understand. Sometimes we fail, but we try. We aren't contemptuous of each other, something highly predictive of divorce, and we usually end up finding humor amidst disagreements. Well, because you probably have adult disagreements. There's no emotion. Like I have a rule. There's no crying. It's just no fucking crying. That doesn't stop it because women cry, I don't know, a puppy and some sad happened on that. I'm not talking about that. We're able to laugh at ourselves at the end of it. We sometimes take a disagreement and turn it into comedy. Of course, these don't sound like life and death disagreements. Of course, these conflicts generally haven't evolved fatal to the marriage issues. Of course, these conflicts... Oh, nobody had an affair. Nobody's gambling away our money. We avoid self-destructive pitfalls. Again, responsibility. Maybe to avoid destroying your marriage, it's good to avoid your own personal self-destruction first. Well, whoa, madam. Are you telling girls not to go into $200,000 of debt for a completely unemployable degree and then lay the debt at the future husband and the fiance's feet? Right now, we're experiencing the best times of our entire marriage. The couple of years was an adjustment. We lived in a house under renovation. Then the babies came. The years of young children while dealing with job, side business, and life are generally extremely stressful. And sometimes you wonder if it's all worth it. The years with older children are better. We bonded tightly as a family and have wonderful. Whoa, You stayed together? The hell is wrong with you? You get the rule book? But there was still all the work. We had a few disasters along the way. I had a serious illness. One of our children had a more serious illness. I won't mention what it was. We suffered unexpected job losses and business wins and losses, but did well in the end. And now finally, my husband is retired and I'm working remotely as a consultant. Wow. At the home. My husband is involving himself in multiple hobbies and taking any interest in the local community. So we are still both busy, but now it is all on our own terms, doing exactly what we want to do and nothing we don't want to do, other than the requisite medical shit that starts happening when you get to be out. Yeah, no, I'm there. We are keenly aware that we have limited time left on this earth. Wait, you're self-aware? Really? Wait, you're not going to live to 120 and get yourself a 41-year-old Hollywood celebrity actor for really? We aren't rich, but we are comfortable enough to pretty much do what we want. Our children are grown and married, and we have grandchildren. Oh boy, that's the fun stuff. We consider that our best achievement other than helping civilization keep afloat. Yeah, I know anybody can make a baby. The achievement is raising them right. Raising kids is a huge pain in the ass, but the return is 1,000. The return is times 1,000, at least if they turn out well. Is the ultimate exercise in delayed gratification. I do believe grandchildren like that. That's the prize you get, with the family intact together. I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Hewers and deadbeat dads all have grandchildren, but you don't get to sit down for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever, birthdays, and then but when you get the grandkids, you're like, little shit, I get to spoil. Like, let's go, kid. We met at work. Oh my goodness, madam, you are from a different generation. Meet at work. I talked about this. I think I even did a video about it. I mean, yeah, you are from a different generation. That can't happen now because men is to risk of losing their jobs. That's not a joke. That's not me being, all edgy. No man could talk to a girl at work. No man could talk to a girl at work. I mean, in a romantic sense. But I pointed out, like, you girls all want these employed guys who got jobs, but you'd like to get to know them. Well, but heaven forbid the guy at work ask you out. We were both STEM people in per year book critical jobs. I was a 20-something lady and had been out of college for a year, having wasted a lot of time getting a worthless liberal arts degree before going to school for engineering. There you go. I had worked my way through most of it, but did end up with a little bit of student loan debt. I don't have to say that. He was a little older than me and had already been married and divorced once. Big red flag. You are right. Big red flag. He owned 2 houses with 2 mortgages. Neither of us had any net worth to speak of. And both of us were dating other people whom we summarily dumped. In 3 months, we were engaged and had moved in together and were married in less than a year. If either of us had asked for consulting back then, what would you have told us? I said, date some more. Divorce and a bunch of debt in our histories. You didn't have that much debt. And also you majored in engineering. So I would have been, you were the one with the unblemished record. Your husband or then fiance was. I would have been like, more like, you date a couple of years. And jumping into marriage that fast. Yeah, I would have said, well, good luck. I mean, look, I jumped off the cliff. Well, I hope there's water beneath you. I hope your parachute works. I can't do anything after you jump. I would have said, why don't you wait a little bit and wait for the water to rise or the winds to change. I wouldn't necessarily have been against you guys, getting married. And in those days, sure, maybe get married, but now I would have, no, don't get married. Just have the kids. On the good side, we were both earning good salaries and had started contributing. Wait, he wasn't a music therapy major and you weren't a journalism major? Imagine that. His 2 houses were an investment. One was a rental. The other was a fixer-upper. That's the construction loan we lived the first few years. The truth is, when we came together, it was like finding a needle in a haystack. He thought I was hot and that I had a sense of adventure, but I was also very brainy as it was. Yeah, but all right, those are certainly things that attracted each other. And yeah, don't get me started about a truly independent woman. Not independent, like strong girl, like a woman who can support herself, is an independent mind, like she doesn't think like the rest of the people the way she was told. Um, that those are all very attractive things. But what the foundation, the concrete foundations that you were a stable person. You not only did you not have any mental disorders, you didn't have any of the fake ones that all the kids fake on having today too. You were a mature, responsible adult. And the other stuff was just icing on the cake. You're like one of those cakes. Now, I don't know. Different people have different opinions on it. Me personally, I like about half cake, half icing. I'll have a smaller piece of cake. I don't like this like microscopic layer of icing like a glaze. I don't like a glaze. You give me an inch thick ice cream and an inch, 1.1 inches of cake. That's the type of cake I want. You sound like that piece of cake. Like, okay, there's some cake, but man, she got a lot of frosting on her. And I'm talking the frosting like decays your teeth. That's the type of frosting I want. There's the grocery store in Rapid City has it. Yeah, there's a carrot cake. And it's got that frosting that's just made of super sugar. And I'll cut the bottom half of the cake off and just eat the half cake, half ice cream. And I'm right. Everyone who disagrees with me is wrong. You don't know how to eat a cake. I'm telling you, this is great part about this country. You're allowed to be wrong about anything. And all the people who think that you should have thin icing and lots of cake, that's fine. You can be wrong. I was also brainy as was he. For people on the far end of the intelligence book, you don't come across an equal every day. Oh yeah, you guys are way on the You're on that side of the bell curve. I was attracted to his abilities. He could do anything. Did he vote Democrat? Was he part of the Yang gang? He could build a house from the foundation up. He could do masonry, carpentry, sheetrock, wiring, plumbing. Ew, he gets dirty. HVAC, he made furniture. He could restore old cars, engine transmission, bodywork, all of it. He would pay cash for a collector car, restore it, and then resell it. He was energetic and always busy on some project. He did all this on top of full-time engineering job. See, here's another thing, and you could, I'm not even kidding. You could write this book, but I don't think you realize how much different you are than the average woman of today, perhaps even back in that time. You observe these things, whereas most women are blinded to that. He fixed the car, he did the house, and then they still, he didn't do the dishes. I have to do the laundry. Oh, we're oppressed because of unfair chores. You're like, damn, look at him. He did that thing. That's awesome. And if girls really, it take a lot of wookie, removing the wool from your eyes, ladies. You go watch your man. You go see if he can like maintain the home, fix up shit, landscape. And yes, I am bragging about myself in part two. I couldn't get a dump loader back, so I had to do wheelbarrows of gravel to landscape the house. Literally tons of gravel. You're like, all that. And I'm like, look at that. And the girlfriend's like, I'll suck your dick. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then a handful of people I've had, did you do that? Yeah, I did that. Well, Herman should go, and his name isn't Herman. Well, why are you? I've been waiting for years. And look at Herman like, hi, Herman. Oh, yeah. No, you got to get it done, man. Got to get it. Otherwise, the projects last for years. I get in trouble with my buddy then. Hey, I got enough stuff on my plate. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to show your wife the new retaining wall. I'm surprised I still got some friends. But yes, if and not to bore people, but men kind of display their love through work and accomplishments. Like, look, I got this stable house, and man, you want to talk about demoralizing when you bust your ass off and all the woman does is bitch and whine about the dishes not being done. Like, yeah, get the fuck out of that. It's over. It's over. And not what I say that you're a good woman for recognizing that. That is, and a superior woman, that's what every woman should be trained to do. Is like, hey, whatever, I don't know. He fixed the plumbing so you could flush the toilet. Who gives a shit if he didn't fold his clothes? And so I've been there. Like, girls weren't living with me, but I thought I was pretty well did. I had rental property and I had to maintain it. And I thought it was like, look at that. Oh yeah, I put this in and fix that. And is this at all sexy? And apparently not. Apparently, I should just go commit a crime and get a felony record, and then I'll be hot. But fuck it if I put a new furnace in, huh? Am I right? Which I did not. I don't have that skill or ability. Look out, ladies. It was that sheer massive ability that I saw as valuable. Everything he did seemed aimed at some future goal. He drove an old beater and dressed like a construction worker. He didn't go to the gym, but was so active with physical work he didn't need to. Dude, tell me about it. I dropped down to 138 pounds, started getting a 4-pack abs, just doing carpentry and yard work. I was in shape too for practicing a thing you like to practice. He had a wicked sense of humor and was a little bit of an asshole. He needed to be to handle me and to fight the metaphorical tigers. Oh, wow. Really? That's interesting. All right. Dude, see, and you're giving me some private information, but here's another thing is you have a male sense of humor, which goes a long way. Like when guys try to be funny, that's another thing women aren't going to listen about. When a guy tries to be funny, he's trying to get you to laugh so you're entertained. And if girls don't laugh at guys' jokes, and it's like that's like a punch in the gut. You're like, okay, well, I guess I won't make you giggle or laugh. But you guys have that sparring mentality with one another. His driving goals in life were to find a wife to have children with and be successful at work and financially well off. My driving goals from very early childhood were to have one long, happy marriage, make babies, and be the stay-at-home mom, and also have an exciting career in something related to your STEM thing, the STEM field that you're in. And oh my God, did you achieve that? I thought if you got married and had kids, you were stuck in the basement and not able to become an engineer. Oh my, how is that possible? Don't tell me you had the kids, stayed at home, raised them, and then after the kids were able to take care of themselves, you went into the career. Why? That would just make too much fucking sense. As a little kid, it didn't occur to me that being a stay-at-home mom and having a full-time career were incompatible. This wasn't feminism making me this way. It was my own nature. But when I got older, feminism supported it, like the perfume commercial. I could bring home the bacon, fried up in the pan, and never let you forget you're the man. Makes it look easy. It's not. No, you can't. There's 24 hours a day. You girls can have it all. You have to. You know this. I'm saying it for the cheap seats. I don't know what Joe Hallenbeck is. That's my statement. Write it down and shove it up your ass. You girls have to have kids early, stay at home and raise them, get them out of the house, and then you can have your career. Not both, not at the same time. Although more modernly, you can kind of do it with working at home gigs. So it's not like black and white. I know you girls, not this woman, of course, not the client. I know you girls love creating yourselves more than your kid. That's why there's daycare where you could drop off it's like storage, for the couch. I don't want to get rid of the couch, but I don't want it in the house. Daycare. We're just going to call daycare the child storage facility. Oh, we shared an interest in a thing and had both taken lessons for that thing, but neither of us achieved a certain milestone in the pursuit of the thing because of being poor college students. We both wanted children. Our political views were the same. The political views are very simple. Fuck the state, fuck the government. We need the money here for our family and our children. We come first, not some fucking randos that hate our guts so you can feel more popular. That's the only correct answer for having a family. I'll never understand women who vote Democrat to take their husband's money away when they're raising a family. I'll never understand it. I'll never understand the hardworking when girl bosses make all this money. I vote Democrat. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm going to raise like 55% of my income taken away. And our religious views compatible. We were both introverts, preferring a few close friends to wider social circles. Just for fun, I plugged our stats into reality calculators for men and women. Unfortunately, I know the guy who ran it. Those calculators are slightly off because he does not account for co-correlation. So they are understanding the percentage. Like, I think I plugged my data in there and I'm like in the top 0.07%, which I am not. I'm like, oh yeah, he didn't account for co-correlation. For men and women, I included our age range and height range and what would be acceptable for either of us, and our salaries adjusted to today's minimum. By today's standards, my husband had a 0.03% chance of finding a woman with my stats, and I had a 0.3% chance of finding a man with his. It's because men are 10 times better. I kid. just a little off color human. We're 20 times better. Multiply those, and you have a 0.009 chance of us finding each other, or about 1 in a 10,000 chance of us coming together. Yeah, on a straight math basis. However, and you couldn't measure this, you were both STEM majors. Like, if you spun a roulette wheel, yes, but you guys made choices that would have put you within the same physical area of each other or the same industry. You met at work. Oh my God, ladies, he better this, he better that, he better think like me and be like me. Where could women, now just hear me out, sit down, just sit down. It's a crazy idea. What if there was a place that women could find men who are not only employed, but gainfully employed, and you could verify they were employed, who also had a similar professional and philosophical interest? If only there was a place that women could meet these men and perhaps get married, like where you went and you would labor, like, and it wouldn't be bad or anything because you get to know that you would go there almost every day, say 5 out of 7 days a week, and you would see it and you'd be there for 8 hours a day working towards a larger goal. We could instead of working, that's too many symbols, maybe just call it work. Maybe we could go to this fictional place called work and meet people who are hard working like us in the same field, and maybe we'd have similar interests. Oh, God almighty, heaven help, that would be bad. Back in the 80s, our chances were certainly better. Women were slimmer, men were manlier, and the workplace was excellent for finding a soulmate. Right, you're right, or finding a mate. But nevertheless, you can get an idea why we snapped each other up so fast. Dude, you had the eye. See, another whole chapter is having a better eye than the other girls. You notice he worked on this. Everything you listed about your husband, about all the stuff he did outside of his job, that would turn most girls off. Oh, mechanic. Oh, plumber. Oh, HVAC. Her vagina actually counts. Is that what HVAC stands for? Oh my God, what do you mean heating, venting, air conditioning? What are you talking about? What? What? Oh, he's not an investment banker. You had the eye for that. I guarantee, well, maybe back in the day, maybe women were, you gotta have to talk to my mom. Like, did you like him because he had did plumbers ever cross your mind? But today, oh yeah, totally different. No. Girls are so brainwashed. And I'm sorry, ladies, you're so naive. I don't want to call it dumb, I call it naive. To not sit and think one step ahead. Well, he can fix cars. That's kind of an important thing. Ooh, he got grease on his overalls. Gross. Fuck it. Heaven forbid a guy ask you out at work. Oh my God, that's the worst thing ever. Even if it was 100 times, that still leaves the odds at 1 in 100 we would find each other. So when we didn't mess around. I would say it wasn't that good though. It was less than a 1. I'd say 1 in 1,000. It wasn't 1 in 10,000. It wasn't 1. I'd say 1 in 1,000. It wasn't impossible. Were we deluding ourselves? We each had made bad and good choices. His bad choice was his first marriage, but he quickly recognized his mistakes and divorced her. He initiated it. They had no kids, and she was long gone by the time we went. Good. My bad choice was wasting 6 years in college for a worthless liberal arts degree before switching to engineering, but you did recover from that. In my defense, I started college in the before time, back when females were rare in the hard science. back when they were rare. Let me explain. So, have you been to a college? They ain't bountiful in STEM. That's all marketing and bullshit. Women in STEM, yeah, all three of you, and for every one of you, there's 1,000 morons majoring in the liberal arts. I've said this before many times. Girls, if you want to go find a good husband, go major in engineering, go major in accounting, go major in something where there's a lot of guys who are going to be gainfully employed down the road. I always loved science, but thought I was too stupid to get a degree in it. Nope. Maybe a good life isn't about making only good choices, but more about the ability to recognize the bad ones and correct the mistakes. Yep. Don't have more kids than you can afford. Spend less than you make. Don't commit crime. Don't major in dumb shit. And don't get married. Although for you, it worked out. We continued to make bad and good decisions throughout our marriage. It goes on, guys. We took out loans to invest in big ticket items, but the things we bought were always intertwined with our family life, as well as being business enterprises. So the expenses associated were tax deductible. Well, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And the income generated defrayed the cost of the loans. We bought two things. One, I don't want to identify what it is. People would you made two investments. One succeeded, one not so much. But you're also able to use them as a family. My husband bought a thing and put that into a for-profit thing. He went back for the previous thing, and then he bought a material thing that went with the previous thing that you guys didn't succeed at because you were poor college students. It was an old and used thing. And this group of people that my husband now became part of aren't all rich assholes. And your average person who does this thing does not buy the physical thing new. They could never afford it. Well, yeah. Yeah, I know that. This was a childhood dream of his. He leased out the thing to cover the loan payments while upgrading it, doubling its value. He sold it and bought a faster thing. They were just little things, but that's all we needed with our children. We had family time on the two things that your husband bought. We didn't become filthy rich doing it, but we didn't get into trouble in debt in the end. Wait. You spent time with your kids? Run that past me. You're a baby boomer. You spent time with your kids? Didn't you get the memo? This Scooby-Doo mystery that women and pussified socialist Democrat men can't figure out. I'm talking to everyone alive today right now. We don't know how to get families back together. I don't know. Have sex. Don't fuck up. Have good finances and spend time with your kids. It's like making chocolate chip cookies. You really can't screw it up. And the Democrats and the feminists like, watch this. Blah! I'm going to piss in it. I'm going to grab some dog shit. I don't know why it tastes like crap. It's the patriarchy. These cookies are bad. Why are my children all mentally ill? Wait a minute, I got a better idea. I'm going to masturbate to it because my child's disadvantaged. I can post about it on Facebook. Just like mommy, he has bipolar. Tee. Here's the biggest reason why this worked. My husband did nearly all the maintenance, repairs, and upgrades to the things. That cuts expenses drastically. In addition, we were frugal in other areas. We drove nothing but old beaters, paid cash. Well, you weren't popular at the high school reunions. And again, he did all the car maintenance and repairs himself. We lived in modest houses and didn't spend anything on interior decor. Whoa! How did you impress your neighbors? When the exterior needed painting, he rented a bucket and did it all himself. I put up siding. I don't ever want to paint again or stain a deck. I'm not staining no deck. He built a lot of our furniture himself. I was never into buying expensive outfits or accessories and didn't care all about jewelry. Look, all you need is a French made outfit from frilly stuff. Go to yandy.com. It's all cheap. It's very simple. Get yourself some platform heels, maybe a belly button piercing. Boom! You're going to look like Dolly Parton when she did the Dallas singing song. I used minimal makeup, so spent very little on that. We didn't spend much on vacations because we used our assets with one exception. On our 20th anniversary, we went back to where we honeymooned, this time taking our children with us. The memories of those vacations with just the four of us are priceless. Not watching Sex in the City with your cats and the box of wine. In trying to write this request, I've gone through all the photos of all of our 38 years together and realized that what we actually did with those loans was invest in our family time together, insulating and protecting that time from the very beginning. Imagine being out doing the thing for a week with no cell phone or internet back in the day. There's just the four of us on the other thing as opposed to dealing with the stress of its replacement. I'm really trying to keep you anonymous. It fit with our introvert nature and our children love it. And we could afford all this because we majored in STEM. Wait, men just need to step up. Not only does he have to pay off the girl's student loan and finance her master's degree, he's got to be able to afford all those things brand new. Madam, God bless you. You're a wonderful woman, and you really actually have a soul. You're a human being, and it's great to see that you love your husband and knew what was important. I mean, your parents must have done it right. Your parents must have raised you right. You could, and you could write a book better than I could because I'm not a female. Unfortunately, it's going to fall on deaf ears. It really is. But I'm not joking. By today's standard, you would go by the pejorative of a pick me or a pick Misha. Oh my God, she just put her husband. Oh my God. Because 23-year-old bitches know more than a sage, wise, slightly older woman, a seasoned woman, or just again, all caps, critical message of my story. You're not wrong. Look, if finance is cited as the number one, maybe number two, I recall seeing somewhere else was the number two, but it's one of the major reasons, one or two, of why marriages fail. I just don't have kids you can't afford. Don't major in dumb shit. Guess what? Women don't care. They're still going to major in dumb shit because they want to. I would be, I don't know if you have girls in there, but if you do have girls, they will listen to, well, I guess you got grandkids on the way anyway. All right, the grandkid girls, if you got grandkid girls, don't hit them up with this when they're 4. Just full of sugar adventure. Oh boy, I bet they love grandpa. Oh, explaining everything your husband did, I bet those kids love grandpa. Let's go in the car. That's all right. Let's go do this. I bet you grandpa, he takes them on adventure. I wouldn't advise young people today do what we did with the big toys unless they really know what they are doing and do a lot of the physical work themselves. The items were appreciating in value back then, and we were riding in a good economy. The Reagan days were great. We did what we did because generational timing allowed us to do so, and it would be a whole different story if my husband didn't do most of the physical upkeep. If men could do their own maintenance and repairs, you can afford a much higher standard of living. But you girls got to go, hey, does he vote Democrat? Girls, Democrat men don't do shit. I'm sure that if you get an old school union guy Democrat, okay, fine, if they're still alive. But your modern day fucking Beto and Dean Phillips and Andrew Yang are a bunch of fucking worthless pussies who couldn't change fucking oil. And here you are, oh no, we need more. What is it? Good? Are you going to need more government money so you can afford a fancy car? I'm getting angry. I'm yelling at the wall. They're not going to change. They're going to keep going after Pretty Boy Floyd. Renting is risky, and more so today than back then. We had a couple of big successes and a couple of major disasters with renting. I would advise staying completely away from long-term rentals unless you really know what you are doing. One of our long-term rentals was a bad mistake. You mean like renting out like a property, you mean, or renting toys? Um, if you're talking about real estate investing, I would just be avoiding that altogether. Especially now, especially with every worthless little bitch in the United. I don't mean female, I mean bitch, little whiny child thinking they're entitled to free housing. There is no way I'd become a landlord. No way. Uh, our biggest success was one the thing. Da da da. You want me to keep the rest of this private? Maybe our way of creating a peaceful family time isn't feasible for young people today due to the no. They can do it. They can do it. Now, if you got rid of all your toys, they could do it. Every young person today could have this. They could. Women are just going to have to settle for, they have to settle for good men who work hard and are disciplined. And women themselves would have to also work hard, major in STEM, accounting, that type of thing, and also be disciplined. But young people, by their actions, I have to say both men and women are not that interested. Men aren't manning up and learning any kind of skill or trade. All right. And if they do, they're high on pot and drunk. I'm not advocating that. And I can understand why, but that's just what it is. The young people marrying age 35 and under, 60% are fat. They don't want it. They just want this life of being sad, pathetic, lazy pieces of shit because it's easy. And the opposite sex really doesn't inspire them much. So I think, I mean, it's great. This is wonderful that you got it, but it's almost like watching a documentary in the 1880s, Jebediah Springfield founded Springfield, wherever the state is. I wouldn't even bother trying to apply this to young people. You tell a girl to major in STEM, it ain't going to happen. Tell a young man, hey, you ought to go into the trades and stop doing pot and being drunk, it ain't going to happen. But they could do it. It's part of the economy. No, they could do it. We could do it. But I do advise jealousy guarding, family time together, however you management, and that is really what we accomplish. The ability to get the hell away from the general public and just enjoy your family. Yeah, you can do that. Kids can work on the farm. It can be done. But good looking. Hey, I'm buying some remote property and look at Better Batcha, for example. All right, he very well to do. He's got his financial act together. He's got his house he's built. What woman's going to go out there in the middle of Tennessee? Oh, like bugs. What do you mean I have to go get water? Oh, where's the parties? Where's the party? Fuck this shit. A truck? I don't like trucks. Why don't we have a Mercedes? Likewise, dinner time was protected family time, no eating in front of the TV. Even after 38 years, we still stick to that rule and still have a lot to talk about every day at dinner. Here's another thing I would there's nothing magical about the dinner table. It is up to the parents to engage in interesting conversation. Because I remember my folks forcing that shit on us, and it's just like you're so bored. There's nothing. I'm not saying you got to entertain the kids the entire time, but you just sitting there like, yeah, you know what? Dukes of Hazzard is more interesting than this. Anything is more interesting than this. Usually because you're getting yelled at because you weren't eating your peas. That's a great family time. But it also requires that you're an interesting family, having interesting conversation and bonding. Something else we did that no doubt would adamantly advise against, we merged our finances completely. Oh, not to know. Oh, this was the before time. Let me guess, you're also thin and attractive. This is way in the past. That made us both equally accountable for every penny because everything was jointly owned. There was no prenup. You might say he took a huge risk marrying me, immediately putting my name on the deed for the house. And with a couple of years, all of our money was thrown together into joint accounts except for the 401ks. That took a lot of blind trust on his part. Yeah, but given your guys' age, there was still the expectation that you would stay married till death do you part. Now, he was divorced, so maybe he was taking a big risk. But that was, Yeah, that was right when the boomer men were getting blindsided by divorce. It wasn't expecting. I think he was still like, oh, I just had some bad luck. Little did we know it become permanent. I think he somehow knew I wasn't ever going to divorce him. Well, he probably made his mistakes with the first one, learned like, okay, I got to find a gal that whatever her faults were isn't like that. And I know maybe you didn't even notice it, but just being appreciative that he could fix everything around the house and that you were a STEM major and you had your life together. I mean, oh my God, guys, could you imagine this gal today? STEM major, had her act together, very little student loan debt, was smart. Oh, you'd be the unicorn today. We don't consult each other for every little expenditure, but we set up a rule for times when one of us wants to splurge on something expensive and unnecessary. We don't ask permission, we just go buy it. But the rule is that the other person has the right to purchase something frivolous of equivalent price. No, that isn't too many rules. That's your money, and this is my money. I don't give a shit if you buy 1,000 styrofoam dogs and put it out. That's fine. You do whatever. No, I'm not bailing you out. And if I go buy something ridiculous like a boat and it bankrupts me, you don't bail me out. That's your money. This is my money. Oh, we don't always exercise the right, but it makes each of us think a little harder before we spend money because the purchase could, in fact, end up costing double. This wouldn't work if we weren't both basically responsible people. You're right. Yeah. And again, I said the foundation is you are responsible people. It's not sexy, but you're responsible. In one of your videos, the one about Dave Ramsey, you said a good marriage is not the cause of responsibility, is the symptom. I said that. Dang, I'm pretty good. Responsible, mature people are successful in marriage. It's not that marriage makes you responsible and mature. Yeah, yes. We both got to realize our childhood dreams of doing the thing. I got my dream of being a mom, and he got his dream of having a family. Amazing how that works. He also became professionally successful as he wanted. But what about my dream of a career? I went for STEM because I looked at the starting salaries. Engineers were in high demand at the time. I ended up very happy with my job. And when I got pregnant, I considered continuing working full time. But after my child was born, I came slam up against the conflict. I couldn't put my baby in daycare, but I love my engineering job a lot, but I quit anyway. Well, good. You got a fucking soul. That perhaps is the single most demoralizing thing I see about the women today. Where I know this is not misogyny. This is not He-Man Woman Haters Club. It's like our women want to drop their kids off in daycare so they can pursue a career. We're right. They're fucking wrong. Black and white. No discussion. Fuck right off with that shit. You want to drop your kid off in daycare so you can work your job. Get fucked. We're on the side of right. I can't think of anything more black and white and clear. But you need two incomes. Then you shouldn't have kids. But I can have it. Oh, said the little devil. Devil's a fat black woman from Chicago. Her name starts with a vowel. It just starts with an O. I won't mention who it is. It starts with an O and ends with pra. We had a second child. I stayed home while they were tiny, but when the kids were in primary school, went back to work full time for a few. There you go. Right. Well, you got to do. I've never like. You guys stay there waiting for once the kids are off the school and gone 8 hours a day. Yeah, obviously. What are you going to do? The machinery today makes homekeeping pretty easy. You don't have to twiddle your thumbs. A few years, found out again that you can have it all. There you go. There you go. Okay, ladies, for the 80,000th fucking time, let's go over this again. I know I'm banging my head against the wall, and you're like, look at that guy banging his head against the wall. What's he doing? You have your kids first, get them into school, and then you go and get the career, okay? Notice, men, you don't get the girl stuff first, sir, and then you go to the gym. No, no, no. You go to the gym, then you get the girl stuff. I am, Envy. I'm very happy for you. It's wonderful. This is how it should have been. This is how it should have been. The old Enjoli perfume commercial was a big fat feminist lie. You can't be in two places at once. Right. You're a STEM major. The law of physics don't allow it. Was it the conservation of mass law? Look at who's the nerd over here, huh? Who paid attention to physics class? This guy. And let me tell you, the women that were lined up for me to know that law. Either you sacrifice your career or you sacrifice your time with your children. Pick one. And we know which one most women want. The husband arranges hours to be with the kids after school while I work late. But I got so burned out, I got physically sick and quit for good this time. I'm not going to say going back to work was all bad. At the time, I needed the intellectual stimulation. It did give us a financial boost. Well, here's another thing. Look, the kids are, even if the kids are, say, 13, okay, you don't have to worry. You don't have to make them food. The kids kind of take care of themselves, bike around. You got about 2 hours before they set the house on fire, when they're gone off to college or wherever, yeah, I would fully expect women to go back to work. Or I guess the guy, if he's staying, would be like, yeah, all right, I got nothing. And then it shouldn't be that stressful because even though they're 13, you still got to pick them up. They're still there. There's time and investment costs. By quitting again, I was definitely the right decision. The stress level went away down for the whole family. And my being home again meant my husband could quit his job with the big corporation, go with a small startup where he could actually function well. And he was much happier and quickly rose in the ranks, but it required long hours and long business trips. He couldn't have done that if I continued working. Oh my God. Are you saying there's kind of a division of labor? That there's an economies to scale and an exponential benefit to that? Oh. If only there was a field like economics that would have proven that long ago. I spent a lot of time with the children, homeschooling one of them and attending a thing with them, a class, the curricular class. It should surprise anyone to know that being close to your children during their teen years is absolutely critical to keeping them out of trouble and getting them properly launched towards adulthood. How dare you, madam? Don't you know all the inner cities are filled with just the brightest youths who don't need their fathers or mothers participating at all? They have public school teachers, and look how well it's coming out. My being home again allowed my husband's career to soar to the financial hit was allowed my husband's career to soar, so the financial hit was less than you think, going from 2 salaries to 1. Generally speaking, if one person is allowed to focus and specialize, they will, and you gave up your income, so your income goes down by half. Usually they make up more than half. Imagine that someone doesn't have to worry about the stress at home, and the person at home doesn't have to worry about the stress at work. That's just crazy talk. Just where do you get off, lady? Just who the hell do you think you are? Today, the independent, successful woman might not like the idea. She absolutely does not. It leaves her vulnerable if he divorces her. Or maybe learn to be in shape and suck a dick. Maybe the young women today are not wrong about. In defense of women today, have you seen what young boys look like? Have you seen what the young men look like? Now, I argue that is in response to women just telling men to go fuck off, and they don't need them, and women also getting fat themselves. I mean, no guy's going to go hit the gym for the Kurt and Dane pool of men or women. But what guy exactly? What your husband doesn't exist in today's young men. I'm sure out of the 100 million, well, I have to divide by half. The 50 million young men, American men today, are there some hardworking young? Yes, probably. But they're exceptionally rare. The average girl has some living at home, incel, nerd. Now, nerd would indicate progress in a degree or an education or a job. They're And those that do have jobs aren't like busting their asses off. I can't blame them. I can't blame. Someone's going to have to blink. But yeah, the women don't exactly have hardworking men, but they do have all the Democrats they hope to get. Those sauce, mushy, callusless, limp noodle arm, in touch with their emotions until they had social anxiety disorder and needed the drugs. There you go, ladies. A generation of Democrat men. Never mind, they can't put air in the tires, but they all vote Democrat and they all believe in global warming, and that's really important. Why am I so dry? Maybe the young women today are not wrong about that, but for us at that point, it was my turn to trust him not to ever divorce me, just like he trusted me back in the beginning. Yeah, well, that is a great story from the before time. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it actually is a wonderful. I hate to use the word story because it indicates it's fiction. It's not, but it's a wonderful story, and I'm glad and I'm happy for your family. And you guys didn't waste your time on life. I mean, you did it. You both not that I wish this. You could both get hit by trucks, and you still would have had the best life ever because you put each other first. It's wonderful. You got kids and everything. It was wonderful. And here, I'd like to say again, the foundation is responsibility. We talked about that, but you both put in the work. I'm going to imagine you're not a fat pig, and neither is he. I'm going to assume that you put on a little something cute and maybe make a dish or something like that, and he goes and still wrenches on the vehicles and all that. It's the simplest. I don't even know. Maybe it's just intelligence or philosophy. That's another person, and they have requirements and standards. If I wish to be with that person, I better meet those requirements and standards. That's simple, but that's lost. That is especially on young women today. And if you don't, I mean, I don't know how much you pay attention to the internet. I recommend you don't look at it. But go look up Pick Me. Go look up on the internet. Never do anything for a man. Oh my God. The worst thing you could do is to put a man. Oh my God. You can't. Oh, fine. Just good luck. Why can't I find a man? I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. 27. 37. Full some fine Laban. All right, there you go. And then you sent a really cool picture of your husband with the little grandkids down there. He's busting ass. Yeah. No, I know the type of grandpa that is. He's got all the toys that little kids want. All right, link below for all you people out there. Thank you very much, madam, for this good and hopeful, much needed story. I would say it serves as a goal every young person should have, maybe minus the signing of the document in the marriage part for today's modern audiences. But there it is. It happens. Unfortunately, I think it's going to fall on a lot of deaf ears, more on the female variety than the male variety. But it's still there. And you know what? I love this story because it reminds everyone who just like, oh yeah, you could have had this. It's still it was possible, but you chose that shit instead of this happy couple over here. So it reminds them it was possible. They threw it away. So link below, and now let me counter with this fine, wonderful anecdotal bit of evidence with some more empirical evidence. The Book of Numbers, analyzing the ROI of the pursuit of women. Please go get that book, gentlemen, before you spend too much time pursuing women. Okay, you go look at the dating statistic. It's an actuarial study. Our unfortunately recently passed away friend Fred, he did the actuarial work to make sure the numbers were correct. And before you dedicate a serious amount of time in your life into pursuing some that would hopefully and ideally turn out to be like the story our client said, understand your chances of this actually happening in the real world. So please go get the Book of Numbers, analyzing the ROI and the pursuit of women. I think that's the only thing I linked to down below. I guess if you want to do something, well, what do I do if not for women? Well, go get your financial act together. You can buy Bachelor Pad Economics. That's available on Amazon, or if you prefer more of a a course. I have a course called Achieving Financial Excellence. They don't exactly overlap, but it'll give you the kick in the ass you need to start getting your financial plan together. All right, let's go through the super chats. Mr. Angry, $5. Been married 11 years. It's not perfect, but it's happy. Been thinking about writing one of these, but I've been too busy. December so far, 104 hours, overtime 80 straight. Yeah, I honestly don't. I could write a book. I could do dating courses for women. I could tell women how to get guys. I could, but they're not going to listen. I think a book on marriage, it's not going to. It's going to fall on deaf ears. Men aren't going to come to the table because women are frankly hostile and fat. They're not attractive. Women aren't going to come to the table because they've been conditioned and installed a different value system, which is me, and career and education. And oh my God, a man, how quaint. And the whole idea of marriage is selflessness and sacrifice and loving someone more than yourself. That is not, I don't think most young women are capable of that. They are not capable of that. And most men, I think they're just defeated and demoralized and like F it, and they're treating themselves with drugs. So you could write a book, but you're wasting your time. We need to get to a point where your welfare checks don't afford you shit, and you actually need the other human being to survive. Then the value of the individual might show up again. But until then, I wouldn't waste your time. Nonstop trade, $2. Is this a real woman that sent this request? Yeah, no, she's been a previous client of mine. And she's the real deal. There's no joke about it. PJ Cornell, $5. I think this push to get women into STEM is BS. The few women I've met in my field, industrial maintenance, are usually more sane than average. Yeah, it's not to say that women in STEM aren't going to be voting socialist and Democrat, but at least their brain it has to be logical at some level. They're also much more likely to be gainfully employed and not have financial troubles. I mean, there's no look, you ain't going to find the tiggle-bitted redhead who's a horn dog who has a degree in nuclear engineering and a $250,000 in her 401k and no other man's. It's in a nice little landing strip down there that the curtain matches the drape. That is not going to happen. But maybe you get a gal who's an engineering major graduate. She votes Democrat, but she's like a little conservative. And maybe you could convince, like, hey, do you mind not voting? No, just show her the federal budget. Like, do you mind not voting 50% of both of our incomes away? Nonstop trade. Cappy is too short to kneel down to propose to the girlfriend. Yep, that's why we're not married. Too short. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field. Yeah, he's a veteran of both wars and marriage. Been married for 10 years. The first 3 years suck, but you have to talk through your problems, establish rules and conditions from the beginning, accept the fact that your spouse will do things that annoy you. That's why I say you should date for at least 3 years. Or in my case, like 13, however much I'm up to now. It just, I do, especially today, I don't see any reason to get married. It just doesn't make any sense. PI, $2. Had no idea you knew about Armed and Dangerous. That is my favorite game. Is an outstanding game. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I saw the video reviews. I'm like, I should go play that again. Nonstop Dre for $2. Cappy likes independent women like Michael Obama. It's Michelle, and she does have a feminine aspect to her. Alex Patino, $2. I take the icing of the cake. Too sweet for me. Off the cake. You take it off the cake. See, you're allowed, Alex. You're allowed to be wrong. We're in the United States. You can have wrong opinions. That's fine. That's okay. Just more icing for me. That's fine. My truth, the king. Too easy, Cappy. Happy wife, happy life. Microphone drop. It is so sad. You could have had it where, like, okay, we're getting married and here's the rules. Like, no, you have to play this freaking attritional warfare where it's like, nah, I'm not. No, you will never get my commitment. You will never get it. This can end at any time. And it's 100% upon you to meet my standards or I walk. And I got to meet your standards or you walk. And when you put it that true equality and separate finances, all of a sudden, because they don't want to put in the work. They really don't. They just don't. Nonstop trade, $2. Cappy is just like his cars. Both are old beaters. Yes, yes. Hat and clogs, $2. Glory to my truth. Glory to the king. Ave, my truth. Nonstop Dre, $5. If they say, as they say, if you can make a girl laugh and giggle, you can make her cheeks clap and jiggle. Unless you're Cappy, he preferred Big Mike making his cheeks clap. If you could get a girl, that's one of the few body language things where I'm like, okay, that's a big green light. If you can get, especially if you get her to hit you in the chest with the back of her hand, you got her. You got her. Like if we had a chart and then back of hand slapping you in the chest and I'm going to fuck her later, that's almost a 1.0 correlation coefficient. That is the biggest guarantee you're getting laid. Booty scratcher, 15 Canadian bucks, new guy. Cappy, I'm 32, driving a recycling truck for the city, making 32 an hour with no debt, full pension and 50,000 in savings. I'm dating and having plates, but we'll get Kit married? You mean killed married? But will Kit get married? I think he meant we'll never get married. I don't blame you. Go date, absolutely. And unfortunately, look, you can have everything this woman listed without getting married. It's the choice and decision the man and the woman made to counter invest in one another. In your case, you don't need Justin Trudeau taking his pencil dick and signing off on your marriage certificate or license or whatever the hell it's called. Sorry, girls, no. The charts that show marriage rates going down, dude, it's gonna fucking plummet. It's been trending down, little ups and downs, but the trend has been down, dude. And then it dropped off during COVID, which then it did spring back up. So that's an anomaly. You're gonna see it fucking plummet. You're gonna see it go down like a roller coaster. Heinrich Dorfman, $2. The word that describes women's god equals contempt. That they're contemptuous of men. I don't know if I'd say contempt. I would say materialism, I guess. Red Pill Thor. By the way, everyone, if you're a young man or a young woman, you're interested in it, Thor offers a course on how to become a lineman. This is like a super electrician. They're the ones that wire up the telephone poles and the big old telephone towers, the electrical wires, the electrical towers. The job is hard, but I said you'd start off 100,000. Everyone's like, dude, try like 250. So if you guys are looking for a lot of money, and it's hard work, there's no doubt about it, but you don't got to go to school for 4 years. Consider it's on Gumroad. Look, how to become a lineman, Thor, Gumroad, you'll find it. Thor for $5, 31 years of marital bliss with a good woman and proper red pill principles being applied. Yep, Thor's got it. And I know his wife. Give my best to the wife, and I hope she's doing well. Nonstop Dre, $2. Cappy's parents raised him so bad, growth stopped at 4'8". Absolutely. My truth, $2. Responsibility, profit and loss. Keep talking dirty to me. I know as an older guy, you hear this woman like, dang, she's hot. She has a STEM degree and works, and she's responsible. And she said, no, I have to have sex with my husband. Man, that's hot. She ain't even put on no heels yet. And they're like, that's hot. Porn for men in the 50s. She has a fully funded 401k, contributed to it religiously, has no debt, and has a degree in accounting. Like, wow, I am erect. Universal coordinate, 15 Canadian bucks. The likelihood of a marriage lasting 50 years is less than 5%. A gray-haired divorce is financial and emotional. Sue is eyed for men. It is. Guys, just don't get married. You do not give your what could possibly be your enemy the gun, saying, well, if you pull it, you get half my shit. Like, no. Just no. And look, wouldn't it be nicer, like, you date someone for 20 years, it didn't work out, like, yeah, you do your thing, we've grown apart, and there's no marriage, we don't go to family court. Kids, all right, we stuck it together for the kids. All right, we're done here. Yeah, let's go find some gray pussy and some gray dick. Have fun. Bye. No hard feelings. Alex Patino, $10 again. Here's an important rule. The wife is allowed to vent whatever frustrations, but as soon as she brings up an old issue that has been resolved, if it doesn't apply, walk away. It's no longer important. Maybe I got better training. There's no complaining unless there's a solution. Like, oh, because I do want to know if there's something like, oh, is that the problem? Oh, we better fix that. But if there's like complaining and all that, I'm like, okay, and what's the solution? I don't do the crying or the complaining. I just nope. I got other shit to worry about. There's so many individual things women could do to secure a guy that doesn't involve, aside from being hot and in shape, aside from that, just, hey, look. And the founding principle is the idea of the opposite of solipsism, whichever it is. Like, that's another human being. All right. Just as you would be pissed off if somebody came up and monopolized your time with petty whining and complaining and bullshit, that person is also going to be tired of you with your whining, complaining, and bullshit. So if you're going to talk to that person, are you adding to that person's life? Or are you taking them away because you don't think they're a real human being? That concept alone, that men are also human beings, that alone would put a woman way ahead of the competition if you girls wanted to compete for men, which I know you don't. So never mind. It was a nice little thought experiment anyway. Nick Coletti, $2. Ravenous travelers over wives with lives. I'm confused. Wisdavision Productions. What's up, Wisda? $5. Just got home from my office Christmas party. It was actually pretty fun. Good. I'm glad you went. Thanks for getting me off my antisocial ass for a change. Look, you cannot. I'm all for introversions. I'm all for being at home. And I hate the public just as much as anyone else, probably just a little bit more. But you still got to go out. Like right now, I'm not here. The GF is back in Minnesota doing family stuff. So I'm by myself. And I'm like, okay, I still got to get out, go to the cigar lounge. I still got to get out, go to the restaurant or the bar I normally go to, just to see other people. You don't want to stay in. Well, Wisdom, weren't we talking about how you had some troubles, happiness troubles? You can't, and some people got the personality for it. Now you got to get outside, just get out, talk to people, just hang out. I'm this close to going to the Dungeons and Dragons nerd group where the last time it was just a bunch of spurgs and autists that didn't play the game, but did all their inside jokes and, Ray John, our Canadian agent in the field, $2. Do you recommend Baldur's Gate 3? No, I do not. It wasn't worth the money. It was all right. It was way too difficult. It's not complicated. It's not open environment. It's very simple, but it feels complicated because you have to do all the character upgrades and all this. And after in the end, you know what it was? It just wasn't fun. Yeah, it's woke trash and shit like that. But after a while, I'm just like, this isn't fun. This is work. It is work to play that game. And I already have kind of a job. I want to Ghost of Tsushima all the way. Also try Spider-Man 2. All right, I might give that a shot. Did you know, Matt, 2 Canadian? I went Christmas shopping. F at AF slobs everywhere. Fat as fuck? Guys, use the right letters. Fat as fuck? I'm like, AF, you mean Abercrombie and Fitch? Fat at Abercrombie and Fitch. I don't know what that is. You got to help me out. Heinrich Dorfman, $2. Watching Spurgs and Autos can be fun change. Sometimes. All right, there you guys go. Cappy gonna go. I think I am gonna go be social. I'm gonna go be social. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll figure out something to do. That's it. We got another one on the way. I did some research for a guy about 2 municipalities, Santa Fe and Roswell, New Mexico. But we'll see you guys later. And thank you very much to the lady who sent this in. I don't want to say it gives us hope, but it gives us a standard. And it proves you all ain't insane. Toodles.